Damn, Whalen, back at it again with the yesterday's news. Oh, God. What's up, guys? It's me again, Pat Whalen of Good Evening with Pat Whalen, Chicago's only late-night talk show news alternative. For those of you just tuning in, it's called Yesterday's News purposefully. I call it that on purpose. Today's Monday, August 29th, and this is yesterday's news. One article today to keep it simple and short from Rick Pearson at the Chicago Tribune. Sharply divided Illinois Supreme Court keeps redistricting question off fall ballot. Let's dive right in here. Redistricting legislation. State legislative boundaries are always changing. These legislative boundaries need to be redrawn every now and again. So who do you think's in charge of that? Well, it should be the voters, right? Voters should be the one to decide, by voting, how these maps are drawn and who gets to claim them. Sadly, that is not the case, and I'll explain more as we go. Here's the article. An amendment made it all the way to the state Supreme Court in Illinois. This amendment was billed as something that would work to take the politics out of redrawing these districts. A 4-3 Democratic majority struck down this initiative, saying that the petition-driven independent map amendment proposal did not fit the narrow legal window for citizen initiatives to change the Illinois Constitution. So I think what they're saying is that the court told the citizens that they're not allowed to change the law. The article says this is a win for Speaker Mike Madigan, Speaker of the House for the state of Illinois. The Speaker has maintained his hold at the Capitol for more than 3 decades, in part because he's had the power to draw the maps. It sounds kind of screwy, but I must say I am kind of excited about this because I've been hitting Governor Rauner and his Republican allies long and hard about the budget impasse and things of that nature. And all throughout, a lot of articles and people that I respect in the news were saying, well, you know, Madigan is responsible for this stuff too. I wasn't really able to see it. Now I see it. I'm excited at this chance to be bipartisan. Here's a quote from our illustrious Governor, Bruce Rauner. Today's court decision to deny Illinoisans the right to vote on a redistricting referendum does nothing to stem the outflow or change people's view of how the system is rigged and corrupt. Rauner said in a statement, by my stars and garters. This proposal was brought to the court by the Independent Maps Group. Their chairman, Dennis Fitzsimmons, is quoted in the article, explaining what the court was saying by striking down this ruling. According to the majority, voters cannot propose sensible changes to the legislative article that would make a meaningful difference in the way legislative district boundaries are drawn. So the court is saying that it is not allowed for voters to make this decision, which is kind of confusing to me. I mean, who else would make that decision? To give you an idea how many voters were for this kind of a thing, more than 563,000 Illinois voters signed petitions to put the independent map amendment on the ballot. It's a lot of people. It's 500,000 people. Yeah, it's 500,000. Justice Thomas Kilbride wrote for the majority on the court, outlining why they decided to vote this way. The ruling is not intended to reflect in any way on the viability of other possible redistricting reform initiatives. Well, that's good. I mean, he's saying that we can come back with other ideas, and maybe just this one specifically is not allowed by the Constitution, so we can kind of huddle up another round of people signing petitions and stuff, and we can get something back at the Supreme Court, right? Oh, wait a minute, no. They brought down this ruling the day before the deadline to bring this stuff to bear. So in terms of these upcoming elections, these are the redistricting rules that we are stuck with now. So that kind of sucks. I'll close out with a quote from Justice Thomas, who is in the minority position on this ruling. The majority has irrevocably severed a vital lifeline created by the drafters for the express purpose of enabling later generations of Illinoisans to use their sovereign authority as a check against self-interest by the legislature. This might seem like a lot of information, but I gotta say, if you really want to get into this stuff, and you probably do, you want to read this article, because there's a lot to it. It goes back a long time, and these changes need to happen. Madigan has been in politics for 30 years. They switch Ronald McDonald's like every 2 years. Mike Madigan is the longest-serving speaker in state history, having held the position for all but 2 years since 1983. P.S. Did you know that his nickname is the Velvet Hammer, a.k.a. the real governor? Illinois, man, I'm telling you. Do you think politicians should be in charge of drawing their own legislative maps? Is the white on white too much? Are you having a case of the Mondays? Contact me. You can check us out at facebook.com/besteveningever. You can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat at besteveningever. Or you can send me an email at besteveningever.com. I'm Pat Whalen. This is yesterday's news, and come back tomorrow where I'll talk about today. Peace.